Okay, if I had to start over as far as math for our homeschool, I actually think I would have gone a different route for my oldest, specifically, than the route that I ended up taking. But of course, we live, we learn, we do better with the information that we learn. And this school year is an example of me trying to do better with the information that I have learned. So let's talk about math. Very quick backstory. So we've been using Abeka for about a year and some change. And there were some things I liked about it, and there were some things I didn't like about it, which I will touch on here shortly. Just hang tight. In short, I do think Abeka is a really good math program for the level that we used it for. However, I did feel like we could do better as far as our math program. So I took a couple things into account. So today I'm going to break down Abeka and Math Mammoth and sort of give you a picture of why it is that I decided to make this switch. So I'm going to talk about presentation of concepts, the aesthetic of each curriculum, the organization of each curriculum, and the price point. So starting with presentation of concepts. So with Abeka, I did feel like there just wasn't enough details in the explanations for me to teach my son in such a way that I felt like he was actually getting an understanding of the concept and therefore would master the concept. The step-by-step instructions given were very simple, easy to follow, but the instruction was just not what I would consider to be thorough, especially when I looked at it compared to Math Mammoth. It's a great curriculum when you talk about drilling and learning math facts, when you talk about practice. The amount of practice problems that Abeka provides are more than enough, but I think we needed more as far as actually developing a concrete knowledge of concepts and not just how to solve math problems using the given steps. Both the spiral and the mastery approach for math have their pros and cons. One way may work better for some kids than others. Abeka is definitely one of those programs that is truly spiral. You definitely see concepts sprinkled throughout the entire curriculum book for practice. Versus Math Mammoth, which is actually more of a mastery approach, but I can still see a little trickle of the spiral approach in there too. And I feel like that maybe what would work better for my son, I feel like he kind of needs that mastery approach right now, and maybe just a sprinkle of the spiral in there, because I do think it's important for him to still have like that review trickle throughout of previously learned concepts. Just not as much drill and practice that Abeka was presenting. As the parent, as the teacher, I could have, and I did some days, take down the amount of practice problems if he seemed to have understood the steps to solving the problems and things like that. But I just didn't want to have to sit there and do that for every single math lesson. It gets to drag out after a while, and so I much prefer the way that Math Mammoth presents their concepts and intertwines their practice. Now, I will say, in comparing Abeka to Math Mammoth, I find that for us, and you may have heard if you've ever done any research on Abeka's arithmetic curriculum, they are considered to be somewhat advanced, but for me, it's not about having my son finish this math book and be advanced. And it felt a little rushed to me because of how the concepts were being presented. It was not in a very thorough way. Like, we would finish math lessons, and yes, my son would have completed all the math problems step by step, would have gotten problems correct, but I just wasn't confident that he was actually grasping and learning the concept and getting the instruction in order to tie the how to the why. With Math Mammoth, the instructions are given in a very clear, thorough, but very simple way. So now I'm going to talk about curriculum aesthetic. So Abeka is definitely more aesthetically appealing. It's colorful. It has little pictures intertwined throughout the book. And Math Mammoth is not. It's just black and white, just worksheets, cut to the chase. There's no extra. I feel for the sake of focus and attention span, we need the black and white. I don't know for sure if the color and pictures and things like that were distracting for my son when we used Abeka, but I do know that our lessons with Math Mammoth have not been taking nearly as long. Now when he gets his independent work problems, he sits and he completes those problems and he gives me his worksheet right back. Curriculum organization. I really like the organization of Math Mammoth. I really do. It's laid out very well and fitting to even my teaching style. There's actually an overview for each chapter and a list of additional resources, at least in the printed book. I'm not sure about the download. There's actually a list of additional resources you can use for extra practice, if you need to supplement, whatever. So I really appreciate that that work has already been done for me, and that at least gives me a starting point if I feel like we need extra practice on a concept. The way that it's organized lets me know exactly what my son is going to be learning at what point throughout the book. And as you can see with Abeka, it's more so of a list of topics that will be covered within a specific span of pages instead of an actual like page by page breakdown. My guess is that this is due to the fact that Abeka is a true spiral approach type of curriculum as opposed to being mastery. And price points. So Abeka is what I would personally consider to be a little bit on the pricier side, especially when you compare it to curriculums like Math Mammoth. So with Abeka, everything has to be purchased individually, and that can add up, especially for us when we calculate in shipping and delivery costs as well. With Math Mammoth, it's not only cheaper and I would even say inexpensive, but it's also offered as a PDF download. So I don't even have to worry about ordering a physical book. Now, what we ended up doing this time is I went ahead and I ordered the physical book for level 3A, but then I actually found the PDF download for the entire level 3 curriculum. So I got 3A, 3B, and the answer key for level 3. Now, later on, I actually may go ahead and purchase the physical copy of level 3B just because I do like having that physical book to access as well. During lessons, I don't always want to have to pull out my computer. So taking all of these things into consideration were really what prompted me to go ahead and make a curriculum switch. Overall, I really think Math Mammoth is going to help give my son a strong foundation for math. I really felt like it was better for me to go ahead and make the switch now as opposed to waiting until the end of the year, mid-year, or next year. I felt like now was definitely the time for me to go ahead and make this type of switch because third grade is the time where the introduction to certain math concepts is starting to ramp up a little bit. I didn't want to have to spend all of next year reteaching and having him relearn these basic math concepts because I chose not to go ahead and make a curriculum switch when I saw that it was something that was needed. So those are the reasons why we have switched from Abeka to Math Mammoth. I really hope this video was helpful for you. If so, then please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, then make sure you hit the red subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you can know when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching.